What's up, family? Figured I'd share some scriptural knowledge that's not in the normal regular Bible. This part of the Apocrypha, uh, Sirach or Ben Sirach, or what else they call it. It might be called Wisdom. Uh, you know, he wrote that book too. But still, just wanted to share this. I think I'll read the whole book for you guys. I'll break it up and do it in pieces. And we're going to start at the foreword. The law, the prophets, and the latter writers has left us a wealth of valuable teachings, and we should praise Israel for the instruction and wisdom they provide. But it is not enough that those who read them should gain understanding for themselves. Anyone who values learning should be able to help others by what he himself says and writes. That is why my grandfather, Jesus, devoted himself to reading the law, the prophets, and the other books of our ancestors. They're not talking about Jesus the Messiah or Jesus Christ. He's talking about his actual grandfather named Jesus, or Yeshua, or probably it was Joseph, or Joshua. That's who that was. They're not talking about Jesus the Messiah. After he had mastered them, he was led to write a book of his own in order to share his wisdom and learning with others, so that anyone who shared his love for learning should have his book available as well, and be all the more able to live according to the law. Let me urge you, then, to read this book carefully and with an open mind, and be patient, and please be patient in those places where, in spite of all my diligent efforts, I may have not translated some phrases very well. What was originally written in Hebrew does not always have exactly the same sense when it is translated in another language. That is true not only of this book, but even of the law itself, the prophets, and the other books. The translations differ quite a bit from the original. I just woke up, so my mind is still waking up. I came to Egypt in the 38th year of King Eugrates' reign and stayed for some time. While I was there, I had the opportunity for a good deal of study and felt the necessity of translating the following book. I wanted to use all my diligence and skill to complete it and make it available for all those living in foreign lands who wish to learn and who have the strength of character to live by the law of Moses. Chapter 1. In praise of wisdom. All wisdom comes from the Lord, and wisdom is with him forever. Who can count raindrops or the sand along the shore? Who can count the days of eternity? How high is the sky? How wide is the earth? How deep is the ocean? How profound is wisdom? Can anyone find answers to these questions? Wisdom was created before anything else. Understanding has always existed. Has anyone ever been shown where wisdom originates? Does anyone understand her subtle cleverness? There is only one who is wise, and we must stand in awe before his throne. The Lord himself created wisdom. He saw her and recognized her wisdom. and so he filled everything he made with wisdom. He gave some measure of wisdom to everyone, but poured her out on those who love him. If you fear the Lord, honor and pride will be yours. You will be crowned with happiness and joy. To honor the Lord is a heartfelt delight. It will give you a long and happy life. And at the end of your days, all will go well for you. God will bless you on the day of your death. To fear the Lord is the first step to wisdom. Wisdom is given to the faithful in their mother's wombs. She has lived with us from ancient times, and generations to come will rely on her. To fear the Lord is wisdom at her fullest. She satisfies us completely with her gifts and fills our homes and our barns with all that our hearts can desire. To fear the Lord is the flower of wisdom that blossoms with peace and good health. She sends knowledge and understanding like the rain, and increases the honor of those who receive her. To fear the Lord is the root of wisdom. Her branches are long life. After you brush your teeth, that dry, pasty taste. That's why some of my words are sticking. I'm trying to wet my mouth. Self-control. This is verse 22, chapter 1. There is no excuse for unjustified anger. Unjustified anger. It can bring about your downfall. Wait and be patient, and later you will be glad you did. Keep quiet until the right time to speak, and you will gain a reputation for good sense. Wisdom and reverence for God. Verse 25. Wisdom has a treasury of wise sayings, but sinners have nothing but contempt for godliness. If you want to be wise, keep the Lord's commands, and he will give you wisdom in abundance. Fearing the Lord is wisdom and an education in itself. He is pleased by loyalty and humility. Be faithful in your practice of your religion. When you worship the Lord, do it with all your heart. That's religion, worshiping the Lord. Don't be arrogant. Well, I said that before. Religion is your faith in action. That's religion. Just putting the things that you believe your faith into action. Serving. Be careful about what you say and don't be a hypocrite. Don't be arrogant. You may suffer a fall and be disgraced. The Lord will reveal your secrets and humble you in front of everyone in the synagogue, because you did not come there with reverence for the Lord, but with a heart full of hypocrisy. Should I read the footnotes? I think I'll read the footnotes. Okay, there's a footnote on verse 1. The book of Sirach was written in Hebrew, but the writer of this foreword translated it into Greek. Verse 4, some manuscripts add verse 5, the source of wisdom is the word of God on high. Her ways are eternal commands. Verse 6, some manuscripts add verse 7, to whom has the knowledge of wisdom been revealed? Who has understood her great experience? Verse 18, some manuscripts add, he saw her and recognized her value. See verse 9. Some manuscripts add, no, this is verse 20. Some manuscripts add verse 21. Honoring the Lord takes sin away. Where the fear of the Lord is found, it turns away anger. Honoring the Lord takes sin away. Where the fear of the Lord is found, it turns away anger. Chapter 2, Faithfulness to God. My child, if you are going to serve the Lord, be prepared for times when you will be put to the test. Be sincere and determined. Keep calm when trouble comes. Stay with the Lord, never abandon him, and you will be prosperous at the end of your days. Accept whatever happens to you. Even if you suffer humiliation, be patient. Gold is tested by fire, and human character is tested in the furnace of humiliation. Trust the Lord, and he will help you. Walk straight in his ways, and put your hope in him. All you that fear the Lord, wait for him to show you his mercy. Do not turn away from him, or you will fall. All you that fear the Lord, trust him, and you will certainly be rewarded. All you that fear the Lord, look forward to his blessings of mercy and eternal happiness. Think back to the ancient generations and consider this. Has the Lord ever disappointed anyone who put his hope in him? Has the Lord ever abandoned anyone who held him in constant reverence? Has the Lord ever ignored anyone who prayed to him? The Lord is kind and merciful. He forgives our sins and keeps us safe in time of trouble. But those who lose their nerve are doomed. All those sinners who try to have it both ways. Doom is sure to come for those who lose their courage. They have no faith, and so they have no protection. Doom is sure to come to those who lose their hope. What will they do when the Lord comes to judge them? What will they do when the Lord comes to judge them? Those who fear the Lord do not disobey his commands. Those who love him will live as he wants them to live. Those who fear and love the Lord will try to please him and devote themselves to the law. Those who fear the Lord are always ready to serve him. They humble themselves before him and say, "We place our destiny in the hands of the Lord, not in human hands, because his mercy is as great as his majesty." Yeah. Now you got to understand that this is written by this man's grandfather, who is writing from his experiences from walking with God, believing from his faith in him, his holiness, because there was no religion. It's your culture. And everyone in his culture believed this way. So these are the results of what he believed and what he walked in. His experiences. The things he saw not only in his life, but from the people around him. Chapter 3. Duties to parents. Children, listen to me. I am your father. Do what I tell you and you will be safe. For the Lord has given fathers authority over their children and given children the obligation to obey their mothers. If you respect your father, you can make up for your sins. And if you honor your mother, you are earning great wealth. If you respect your father, one day your own children will make you happy. The Lord will hear your prayers. If you obey the Lord by honoring your father and making your mother happy, you will live a long life. Obey your parents as if you were their slave. Honor your father in everything you do and say, so that you may receive his blessing. When parents give their blessing, they give strength to their children's homes. But when they curse their children, they destroy the very foundations. Never seek honor for yourself. Never seek honor for yourself at your father's expense. It is not to your credit if he is dishonored. Your own honor comes from the respect that you show to your father. If children do not honor their mothers, it is their own disgrace. My child, take care of your father when he gets old. Give him no cause for worry as long as he lives. Be sympathetic even if his mind fails him. Don't look down on him just because you are strong and healthy. The Lord will not forget the kindness you show to your father. It will help you make up for your sins. When you are in trouble, the Lord will remember your kindness and will help you. His sins will melt away like frost in warm sunshine. Those who abandon their parents or give them cause for anger may as well be cursing the Lord. They are already under the Lord's curse. Humility, chapter 3, verse 17. My child, be humble in everything you do, and people will appreciate it more than gifts. The greater you become, the more humble you should be. Then the Lord will be pleased with you. The Lord's power is great, and he is honored by those who are humble. Don't try to understand things that are too hard for you, or investigate matters that are beyond your power to know. Concentrate on the law which has been given to you. You do not need to know about things which the Lord has not revealed. So don't concern yourself with them. After all, what has been shown to you is beyond human power to understand. Many people have been misled by their own opinions. Their wrong ideas have warped their judgment. Stubbornness will get you into trouble at the end. If you live dangerously, it will kill you. A stubborn person will be burdened down with troubles. Sinners go on adding one sin to another. There is no cure for the troubles that arrogant people have. Wickedness has taken deep root in them. Intelligent people will learn from proverbs and parables. They listen well because they want to learn. Giving to the poor. Verse 30. Giving to the poor can make up for sin, just as water can put out a blazing fire. Anyone who responds to others with acts of kindness is thinking of the future, because he will find help if he ever falls on hard times. The principles behind this, man. I said the principalities. I would say principalities. principalities, the principles behind. They are undisputable. So that's why people will be like, oh, the Bible this and the Bible that, and I don't go by a book and all of this, but the principles are undisputable. For real. There's so much wisdom and knowledge in reading these gifts that were given to us from ancient times, passed down. Has it been defiled and corrupted? I'm sure. In some places where they want the text to read how they want it to read, and just like it said in the foreword, when you're doing translation, sometimes the understanding gets lost because what they're trying to convey can't be conveyed in that language. They just don't know how to express it to make it be, to have that same impact that it would in their culture and what it meant to these, in their language and their culture, what it means, that the impact that it will have, the significance. So the footnotes, Sirach 3 verse 17, Hebrew people, gifts. Greek, those whom the Lord approves will love you. Verse 18, some Greek manuscripts add verse 19, many are exalted and esteemed. Many are exalted and esteemed, but God's secrets are revealed to the humble. Hebrew, God's mercy is great, and he reveals his secrets to those who are humble. Verse 24, some Greek manuscripts add verse 25. If you have no eyes, you cannot see. Don't claim to have knowledge if you don't have it. Hebrews has, after verse 27, if you have no eyes, you cannot see. If you have no knowledge, you cannot have wisdom. Sirach chapter 4. My child, don't prevent the poor from making a living, or keep them waiting in their need. Never give a hungry person any cause for resentment or anger. Don't add to the troubles of someone who is already desperate. If he is in need, don't put off giving to him. Don't refuse to help a beggar who is in distress. Don't turn your back on a poor person or give him any reason to curse you. If he becomes so bitter that he does curse you, his Creator will hear his prayer. Make yourself popular in the synagogue. Bow your head to men of authority. Listen to what the poor have to say and answer them politely. Protect people from those who want to wrong them, and be firm in your judgments. Be like a father to orphans, and provide widows with the help their husbands can no longer give them. Then you will be like a child of the Most High, and he will love you more than your own mother does. Wisdom as a teacher, verse 11. Wisdom takes care of those who look for her. She raises them to greatness. Wisdom as a teacher. Wisdom takes care of those who look for her. She raises them to greatness. Loving her is loving life itself. Rising early to look for her is pure joy. Anyone who obtains wisdom will be greatly honored. Whenever Wherever he goes, the Lord will bless him. Wisdom's servants are the servants of the Holy One, and the Lord loves everyone who loves her. Those who obey her will give sound judgment. Those who pay attention to her have true security. Put your trust in wisdom, and you will possess her and pass her on to your descendants. At first, wisdom will lead you along difficult paths. She will make you so afraid that you will think you cannot go on. The discipline she demands will be tormenting, and she will put you to the test with her requirements until she trusts you completely. Then she will come to you with no delay, reveal her secrets to you, and make you happy. But if you go astray, she will abandon you and let you go to your own ruin. Wow. Wisdom as a teacher, right? That's what happens, right? That's what happens when we don't listen to our old heads that try to give us wisdom, knowledge from their understanding. And we don't listen. And we're off to our own ruin, right? Yeah. That's what happens. That's what happens. When you rambunctious children, leave your house, you leave, don't want to listen to your parents and run away and leave, think you're grown. And that little bit of knowledge that your parents, that you did hold on to your parents, rings in your ear when times are hard, and you still don't obey it, and you just dig yourself further and further. When you could have returned home, you could have came to your senses, made up your mind, and be respectful. How many lost people are out here roaming the streets because they rejected discipline. How many people are suffering and going through hard times because of that? Their own decisions to reject wisdom. Verse 20, self-confidence. Take advantage of opportunities, but guard yourself against evil. Don't underrate yourself. Humility deserves honor and respect, but a low opinion of yourself leads to sin. Do not let others have their way at your expense. Do not bring on your own ruin by giving up your rights. Never hesitate to speak out when the occasion calls for it. Don't hide your wisdom. Your wisdom and education can be known only by what you say. Do not, however, go against the truth. And remember that you do not know everything. Don't be ashamed to confess your sins. There's no point in trying to stop a river from flowing. Don't allow yourself to be dominated by someone who is stupid or show partiality to influential people. Stand up for what is right, even if it costs you your life. The Lord God will be fighting on your side. Don't be quick to speak or lazy and neglect in your words. I guess it should be lazy. Don't be quick to speak, or be lazy and negligent in your work. Don't be quick to speak, or be lazy lazy and negligent. And don't be quick to speak, or lazy and negligent in your work. Okay. Don't act like a lion at home, or be suspicious of your servants. Don't stick out your hand to get something if you're going to be tight-fisted when the time comes to pay it back. That's a big one right there, ain't it? Don't stick out your hand to get something if you're going to be tight-fisted when the time comes to pay it back. Who is it?
It's Pizza Hut. I'm looking for apartment number A. You would have to know which one it is.
Yeah. Hang on. 4959?
Yes, sir. 4959. For Qandu.
Alright.
Is that A right there?
Nope. That's around the back here.
All around the back. Okay. Thank you very much.
Yep. Footnotes. Sirach 4, verse 15. Hebrew gives sound judgments. Greek judge nations. Verse 17. She trusts you, or you trust her. Sirach 4:23. Parable text. The occasion. Greek safety. Verse 23. Hebrew. Don't hide your wisdom. Most Greek manuscripts do not have these words. Other Greek manuscripts. Do not hide your wisdom. Do not hide your wisdom for the sake of appearances. You know, when you in them situations and somebody is spewing out lies and wrong information, you know, and you know the truth and but you don't speak up and let this poison grow and be planted in somebody's mind, and then it's going to be taken and spread to someone else. When you have the power to shut that down, you know the truth. When these what they said about the not doctors, but the educated people. You know what I'm saying? These educated people. But don't forsake the truth. And we know that as they use a lot of these people with all these letters to try to validate the propaganda, when if you know truth, you won't fall for it. You won't be deceived by it. And there's people that are in those positions that allow those lies to be perpetuated, spread, become the norm, become a voice, a movement. And you got people that know the truth and are not speaking out. In every industry, in every form of business, where there's corruption, there is somebody that knows the truth, that is fearful to speak up against it, or on the other end, they're enticed by it and helping it to be. A lot of employees are, they know what their company is really doing to people, especially in insurance and healthcare, and pharmaceuticals. Other humans, this is humans doing this to humans, all for money, whether it's for just a paycheck or it's for dividends. But how many people stand by and let injustices go by, or let these atrocities unfold when they know that they could have put an end to it? They could have stopped it. They could have did something. Maybe they could have put a monkey wrench in the cog, even if it was temporary, but even if it was just to make enough smoke to bring, attention to it. Because where there's smoke, there's fire. So, I guess my whole point of all of this is just like, can you imagine if America was the nation that they said that they wanted to stand on, the things that they wanted to stand on? But once they denounce God in everything, how can you say you're a nation of God? How can you say God bless America? How? Nobody, we don't have a national prayer time where even in the middle of the workday, people stop and pray to their God. And we're all believing and praying to one God. Not somebody going in and pulling out, idols and stacking them up and praying and making, altars and of idolatry. Are people getting, are people separated by a name? By a God of many names, a being of many names, a force, a spirit, an energy of many names? It's still the same force. Still the same spirit. Still the same God. The power, the peace that will be over the nation and the citizens. Sirach, chapter 5, Good News Translation. Don't be presumptuous. Don't rely on money to make you independent. Don't think you have to have everything you want and then spend your energy trying to get it. Don't think that no one can exercise authority over you. If you do, the Lord is certain to punish you. Don't think that you can sin and get away with it. The Lord does not mind waiting to punish you. Don't be so certain of the Lord's forgiveness that you go on committing one sin after another. Don't think that His mercy is so great that He will forgive your sins no matter how many there are. No matter how many they are. He does show mercy, but He also shows His furious anger with sinners. I've been saying that for how long? You know what I'm saying? God is love and wrath. People better just stop thinking that God is just love. Yeah, He's just forgiving and He's merciful. Oh yeah, He is. But he'll burn you too. He'll burn you up. You know what I'm saying? He'll let you go. He'll separate himself from you. He'll leave you to yourself. Don't think that his mercy is so great that he will forgive your sins no matter how many they are. He does show mercy, but he also shows his furious anger with sinners. Come back to the Lord quickly. Don't think that you can keep putting it off. His anger can come upon you suddenly, and you will die under his punishment. Don't rely on dishonest wealth. It will do you no good on that day of disaster. Sincerity and self-control. Verse 9. Be certain about what you believe and consistent in what you say. Don't try to please everyone or agree with everything people say. Always be ready to listen, but take your time in answering. Answer only if you know what to say. And if you don't know what to say, keep quiet. Speaking can bring you either honor or disgrace. What you say can ruin you. Don't get a reputation for being a gossip, and don't tell tales that will hurt people. Just as robbers will suffer disgrace, so liars will suffer severe condemnation. Do nothing destructive, whether it seems insignificant or not. Footnotes. Sirach 5:9. Hebrew, everything people say. Greek adds, that is what double-tongued sinners do. Greek adds, that is what double-tongued sinners do. Oh, don't be certain about what you believe and consistent in what you say. Don't try to please everyone or agree with everything people say. That is what double-tongued sinners do. That's how that goes. Verse 15. Do nothing destructive. Greek. Do not be ignorant in anything. Do your research. Do your due diligence. Spend the time to find out, to know the truth for yourself. Sirach chapter 6. And do not be an enemy when you should be a friend. A bad reputation brings you the disgrace that lying sinners deserve. Do not let your passions carry you away. This can tear your soul to pieces like a bull. You will be left like a dead tree without any leaves or fruit. Evil desires will destroy you, and you make a joke to your enemies. No. Evil desires will destroy you and make you a joke to your enemies. Yeah. Evil desires will destroy you and make you a joke to your enemies. Friendship. Verse 5. If you are polite and courteous, you will enjoy the friendship of many people. Exchange greetings with many, but take advice from only one person out of 1,000. When you make friends, don't be too quick to trust them. Make sure that they have proved themselves. Some people will be your friends only when it's convenient for them, but they won't stand by you in trouble. Others will fall out with you over some argument and then embarrass you by letting everyone know about it. Others will sit at your table as long as things are going well. They will stick to you like your shadow and give orders to your servants, but they will not stand by you in trouble. If your situation takes a turn for the worse, they will turn against you and you won't be able to find them anywhere. Life lesson. Learned that firsthand. Stay away from your enemies and be on guard against your friends. A loyal friend is like a safe shelter. Find one and you have found a treasure. Nothing else is as valuable. There is no way of putting a price on it. A loyal friend is like a medicine that keeps you in good health. Only those who fear the Lord could find such a friend. A person who fears the Lord can make real friendships because he will treat his friends as he does himself. Learn from wisdom. Verse 18. My child, learn to value wisdom while you are young, and you will still be able to find her when you grow old. My child, learn to value wisdom when you are young, and you will still be able to find her when you grow old. Work as hard to find wisdom as a farmer works to plow and plant his fields. Then you can expect a good harvest. You will have to work at it for a while, but you will soon be enjoying what you have earned. Undisciplined people find wisdom's demand too hard and don't have enough determination to meet them. Her requirements are a burden heavier than they are willing to bear, and they quickly lay them aside. Discipline means just that, discipline. And not many people are able to discipline themselves. My child, listen to me and take my advice. Put wisdom's chains around your neck and her yoke around your neck. My child, listen to me and take my advice. Put wisdom's chains around your feet and her yoke around your neck. Her chains, wisdom's chains around your feet and her yoke around your neck. Carry her on your shoulder and don't be resentful of her bonds. Follow wisdom and keep to her ways with all your heart. Go looking for her and she will reveal herself to you. Take a hold of her and don't let go. Then you will discover the peace of mind she offers, and she will become your joy. The signs of slavery you wear will become signs of royal majesty. Her chains will become your protection, and you will wear her yoke like a magnificent robe. You will wear wisdom like a splendid crown. The signs of slavery you wear will become signs of royal majesty. Follow wisdom and keep to her with all your heart. Go looking for her and she will reveal herself to you. Take hold of her and don't let go. Then you will discover the peace of mind she offers, and she will become your joy. The signs of slavery you wear will become signs of royal majesty. Her chains will be your protection, and you will wear her yoke like a magnificent robe. You will wear wisdom like a splendid crown. My child, you can learn if you want to. You can be clever if you are determined to be. If you are willing to listen, you will learn and become wise. Go where the old people are. Find someone who is wise and stay with him. Be ready to listen when religious people speak. And don't miss anything that shows insight. If you find someone with understanding, get up early to call on him. Wear out his doorstep with your visits. Devote all your time to studying the Lord's commands and thinking about them. He will give you the insight and wisdom you are looking for. Footnotes. Sirach 6:2, verse 2, in both Greek and Hebrew is unclear. Verse 17, because himself, or because his friends will also fear the Lord. Let's see what that one was. 17. A person who fears the Lord can make real friends because he will treat his friends as he does himself, because his friends will also fear the Lord. Because his friends will also fear the Lord, huh? He will have friends of God, good, real friendships, because, his friends also fear the Lord. Hebrew discipline. This Sirach 6:22. Hebrew discipline. Discipline, Greek wisdom. Hebrew is discipline, and Greek is wisdom. Discipline means just that, discipline. Wisdom means just that, wisdom. And not many people are able to discipline themselves to obtain the wisdom. Sirach 7. Miscellaneous advice. If you do no wrong will ever come to you. Do not plow the ground to plant seeds of injustice. You may reap a bigger harvest than you expect. Don't ask the Lord for a place of honor or ask the king for an important position. Don't try to convince the Lord that you are righteous or make a show of your wisdom before the king. Don't set your heart on being a judge unless you have the strength of character it takes to put an end to injustice. See what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. These people that are in power and in these positions, they feel that they are ordained by God to be there. Then they have an obligation. They have a divine decree, a divine order, a mitzvah, a command to put an end to injustices, to put an end to corruption, to be fair, to keep things in order. And they're not doing that. They're not doing that. Judges, politicians, what are they doing? They're all concerned about getting rich when that is not their. That's not their purpose. That's not supposed to be their purpose. That is not their supposed to be their agenda. That is not what leading a people is supposed to be about. not the money. Keeping the people. The government is supposed to help to keep the people living righteous. It's supposed to be an example to the people. You know, if they are governing in godly ways, then those effects will trickle down to everybody because of the people that are in power. If their character is on par and up to status, if their spirit is right, if they're in line, if they are submissive, if they are following their God, true believers, then things will go right for other people, for the citizens. The people won't have to fear, will not be daily living, a daily worry or concern. You won't be in fear. You won't be in poverty. Where's your next meal going to come from? You won't have those worries and concerns. You won't have to worry about spam calls all day. People trying to scam you and use your identity and hack your accounts in a country that allows this. You think they got spam calls in China? You think they got telemarketer calls in China that are where the business practices are not up to par? And if they do have something like that, do you think that they get away with it for long? You think that happens in Japan? You think it happens in Saudi Arabia? And most of all the call centers for these corporations that are here in America are in the Middle East. But do you think those practices happen to those people there? No. Because we're no longer being run by men of God. We're no longer being run by women of God. And all the ones that stand up get silenced because you got one person of God and you got all these these devils around them, and they screaming, but their voice can't hardly get heard out throughout the flooding of waves of the devils. And why is that? Because when the people inside of the government, when the ones that do stand up, what's supposed to happen next is the people are supposed to respond to that. The people are supposed to stand by that person to make that issue no longer be an issue. And whoever needs to be removed. But not the one that's standing up for what's right. How can we live in a country that say we're of that is of God, is a God-fearing country, when all our infrastructure, everything that is, every system, every industry is corrupted? 90%, at least 90%, is corrupt. Corrupt. They're machines of destruction, industries of destruction, systems of destruction. There's no building. It's all destruction. Profit from pain. Profit from wickedness and evil. profit from murder and death. I think I'm going to do one more and then I'm going to end this. So what chapter we on now? Chapter 7. Sirach 7. Sirach 7. Okay. What was that? Okay. If you do no wrong will ever come near you. If you do no wrong will ever come near you. Do not plow the ground to plant seeds of injustice. You will reap a bigger harvest than you expect. I've paid some of the biggest consequences of being spiteful with the intention to hurt people. I've paid my biggest prices in that. So that is true. How the saying goes, you reap what you sow. But guess what? Sometimes what you sow may be bigger than what you expect. In a bad way. In a good way and in the bad way. Don't ask the Lord for a place of honor or ask the king for an important position. Don't try to convince the Lord that you are righteous or make a show of your wisdom before the king. Don't set your heart on being a judge. That first part I read before reading that, don't put your heart on being a judge. Asking for places of honor, being in a place of honor, and trying to convince the Lord you are righteous. Putting on an act. Like we can't lie God. We can't hide from God. He knows exactly who we are. It's like, how can you try to fool yourself? So people, be you. Be you. Don't set your heart on being a judge unless you have the strong character it takes to put an end to injustice. Yeah, don't take the bribes. Don't fall into the bribes. And that's another reason why most of these politicians that do have a little bit to say here and there, because they don't already been they took the bribes. They already took the bribe. So what they say, they only can express their little bit of frustration, but so much because they already drank the Kool-Aid. They already bought in when they took whatever bribe. When they felt as though they had to negotiate and compromise with somebody or another ideology or with the corruption to get something done, to try to get something good out of it. Because that's how they do you. You're trying to do something good, so you gotta do something bad just to get something good done. So they can trust you, so they can have control over you and power over you. So you can't fully speak up and express what you want if you're in fear of what they will expose or do to you. Don't set your heart on being a judge unless you have the strength of character it takes to put an end to injustice. Why do I keep reading that? Because, man, that's how they do. The legal system in Pennsylvania, the Commonwealth in Pennsylvania, oh my gosh. If you let yourself be influenced by someone in a position of power, your integrity will be damaged. I just said that. And don't commit any crime against the general public, and don't disgrace yourself among the townspeople. That's what they do every day, all day. And people say, well, where's God? Their time is coming. Their time is coming. Be patient. Don't commit the same sin twice. The punishment you get the first time ought to be enough. Don't think that God Most High is going to take into account how very generous you are and so accept an offering you decide to make. Can't bribe him. Never get tired of praying and never miss a chance to give to the poor. Don't laugh at someone who has been humiliated. It is the Lord who humbles a person, but the Lord also rises him up again. Don't think up lies to tell about your friends. Don't tell lies at all. It never does any good. In an official assembly, don't get up and open a lot of nonsense. In an official assembly, don't get up and talk a lot of nonsense. And don't repeat yourself when you pray. Don't try to avoid farm work or other hard labor. The Most High has given us these jobs to do. Don't join up with a crowd of sinners. Remember that the Lord's punishment is sure to come. Be very humble, because the decay of death awaits us all. Remember what I said about that punishment is coming? What it said. Remember that the Lord's punishment is sure to come. It is. Relations with others. Don't betray a friend. Relations to others. This is verse 18, chapter 7. Don't betray a friend for money. Don't betray a real friend for all the gold in the world. Don't miss your chance to marry a wise and good woman. A gracious wife is worth more than gold. Don't mistreat servants who do their work well, or employees who do their best for you. Don't mistreat servants who do their work well, or employees who do their best for you. And we see that all the time in these corporations. Balance is coming. Recompense is coming. Don't mistreat servants. Oh, I said that one. Show the same love to wise servants that you would show to yourself, and let them have their freedom. Take good advice. It's time for me to start reading this. Show the same love to wise servants that you would show to yourself, and let them have their freedom. Take good care of any animals you own. If they make money for you, keep them. If you have sons, educate them. Teach them self-discipline while they are young. If you have daughters, keep them virtuous. And don't be too indulgent with them. When you give your daughter in marriage, you have finished a great task, but give her to a sensible man. If you have a good wife, do not divorce her, but do not trust yourself to someone you don't love. Honor your father with all your heart, and never forget how your mother suffered when you were born. Remember that you owe your life to them. How can you ever repay them for all they have done for you? Fear the Lord with all your heart, and have respect for his priests. Love your Creator with all your strength, and give his ministers your support. See, this is where you can tell, like, remember when I said You could tell when man put their part in there and have respect for his priests. There were no priests. Well, yes, there was. Yes, there were. But this is a man thing. This is Catholicism. You know what I'm saying? This is one of those things. You know what I'm saying? Have respect for the priests that they used and twisted, and you can see the the benevolence behind that. At the just look how the priests use their power. You know what I'm saying? Fear the Lord with all your heart and have respect for his priests. Why would that be in the same sentence? Love your creator with all your strength and give his ministers your support. You know what I'm saying? That's completely different. Honor the Lord and respect the priests. Supply them with what you have been commanded to give. The first produce, the offering for sin, the shoulder of the sacrificial animal, all the required sacrifices and offerings. Give your help to the poor, and the Lord will give you his perfect blessing. Be generous to every living soul and be gracious to the memory of the dead. Show sympathy to those who have lost a loved one and mourn with them. Do not hesitate to visit the sick. You will be loved for things like these. Whatever you do, remember that someday you must die. As long as you keep that in mind, you will never sin. Sirach 7:17. Footnote. Hebrew, the decay, all. Greek, the punishment of the ungodly is fire and worms. Sirach 7:21. Hebrew, show the same love yourself. Greek, show love to a wise servant. I think I keep going to 10. Make it easy. Sirach 8. Using common sense. Do not challenge a person who has influence. You may fall into his power. Do not quarrel with someone rich. He may bribe people to turn against you. Gold has destroyed many people and corrupted kings. Don't argue with someone who talks too much. You will just be adding fuel to his fire. Don't make fun of someone who has bad manners. He may insult your ancestors. Don't criticize someone if he is already turning away from sin. Don't criticize someone if he is already turning away from sin. Remember that we are all guilty. Never think less of someone because he is old. Some of us are growing old too. And some of us are not. So how you gonna make fun of somebody? You better wish that you make it that be that old. Don't be happy over the death of anyone. Remember that all of us must die. Do not disregard what the wise have said. Study their proverbs. From them, you can learn to be cultured and to serve great people. Pay attention to what old people say, for they learned from those who came before them. You can learn from them, and they can teach you how to have an answer ready when you need one. You should not provide a sinner with more opportunity to sin. You might get hurt yourself. You should not provide a sinner with more opportunity to sin. You might get hurt yourself. It's as easy as getting burned while adding logs to a fire. You should not get up and walk out on someone who is insolent. He might twist your words and use them against you. You should not lend anything to someone more powerful than you. If you do, you might as well consider it loss. You should not guarantee anyone else's loan to an extent that you cannot afford. You must be prepared to pay any such guarantee. You should not bring a lawsuit against a judge. He will win because of his position. You should not travel with anyone who is reckless. It will cause you nothing but trouble. He will do any foolish thing he pleases, and you will die with him. You should not get into an argument with anyone who has a hot temper, or go to some place where the two of you will be alone. Violence means nothing to such a person, and he will attack you when there is no one to help you. You should not ask a stupid person for advice. He will not be able to keep secrets what you tell him. He will not be able to keep secret what you tell him. You should not do anything in front of a stranger. You should not do anything in front of a stranger that should be kept secret. There is no way of knowing what will happen if you do. You should not reveal your most private thoughts to anyone. If you do, you may as well throw away any chance of happiness. Sirach 8:19 footnote Hebrew, if happiness, Greek, and don't let anyone do you a favor. Because once you allow them to do you a favor, then you owe them one. And sometimes they're disproportionate. Huh? Advice about women. Chapter 9. Sirach. Don't be jealous of the wife you love. You will only be teaching her how to do you harm. Do not surrender your dignity to any woman. Keep away from other men's wives, or they will trap you. Don't keep company with female musicians. They will trick you. Don't look into, Don't keep company with female musicians. They will trick you. What they been saying about Beyonce and her witchcraft? Don't look too intently at a virgin, or you may find yourself forced to pay a bride's price. Don't give yourself to prostitutes, or you may lose everything you own. Let them in and they don't want to get out, and it can turn into something bad. And you may not want to leave, You pay them to leave, but, depending, people do discernment, and you're a nice guy, and she try to take advantage of you. And now you're in a situation you don't want to be in. And it could cost you, like it says, it costs you everything. Everything you own. Don't give yourself to prostitutes, or you may lose everything you own. And that can be your health. So don't go looking about in the streets or wandering around in the rundown parts of town. When you see a good-looking woman, look the other way. Don't let your mind dwell on the beauty of any woman who is not your wife. Many men have been led astray by a woman's beauty. It kindles passions as if it were fire. Don't sit down to eat with another man's wife or join her for a drink. You may give in to the temptation. You may give in to the temptation of her charms and be destroyed by your passion. You may give in to the temptation of her charms and be destroyed by your passion. Friendships with others. Verse 10. Never abandon old friends. You will never find a new one who can take their place. Excuse me. Never abandon old friends. You will never find a new one who can take their place. Friendship is like wine. It gets better as it gets older. Don't be jealous of a sinner's success. Excuse me. You don't know what kind of disaster is in store for him. I said that earlier. Don't take pleasure in the things that make ungodly people happy. Remember that they will be held guilty as long as they live. If you keep away from someone who has the power to put you to death, you will never have to fear for your life. But if you must go near him, be very careful, or he may kill you. Be conscious that you are walking among hidden traps. Be conscious that you are walking among hidden traps, that you are an easy target. That's the mind you better have when you're around people that you know are your enemies. Don't let your guard down. Expect something. Like it says, be conscious. Know that you are walking among hidden traps. Get to know the people around you as well as you can and take advice only from those who are qualified to give it. That's a big one, especially for women, right? Engage in conversation with intelligent people and let the law of the Most High be the topic of your discussions. Choose righteous people for your dinner companions. Your chief pride should be your fear of the Lord. Rulers, verse 17. A skilled worker is admired for the things he makes, and a leader's wisdom is proved by his words. Someone who speaks rashly and recklessly is feared and hated by everyone in town. Footnote, Sirach 9:3, Hebrew, other men's wives, Greek, immoral women. Because they don't necessarily have to be married. Sirach chapter 10, I'm going to stop here. It's the last one I'm going to read. Chapter 10. A wise ruler will educate his people, and his government will be orderly. All the officials and all the citizens will be like their ruler. An uneducated king will ruin his people, but a government will grow strong if its rulers are wise. The Lord sees to the government of the world and brings the right person to power at the right time. The Lord sees to the government of the world and brings the right person to power at the right time. The success of that person is in the Lord's hands. The Lord is the source of the honor given to any official. Now, see, this is what I was talking about. You know what I'm saying? It's a principle. It's a principle. It's a fact. It's a divine or divinely orchestrated and ordained. You will be who you're supposed to be, no matter whatever road path you're on. You will be and end up exactly where you're supposed to be and who you're supposed to be and end up where you're supposed to be when it's time for you to be there. So people do all this stressing and all these things. If it's God, if it's ordained by God, it will be. All you gotta do is breathe. Learn the lessons that you're learning. Keep your spirit right. Be at peace. Stay in tune with God. That's the most important thing that you can do. And as far as officials and everything, he said he's gonna take care of all of that. You know what I'm saying? And it probably would have happened much sooner in this country if the people were praying. Not praying for wealth, not praying for jobs, not praying to keep their houses and keep their cars. But if they were actually praying for officials, governmental people, leaders to be men of God, to walk in his principles, to have the mind of Christ, to know Christ, to fear God, to love themselves so they can love the people, to want for the people what they want for themselves. But what does the Lord say? The Lord sees to the government of the world, not just the United States, the world, and brings the right person to power at the right time. So eventually, in each governed country, the right people will come at the right time. Your success is in the Lord's hands. Your life, everything about you is in the Lord's hands. That's how you obtain peace. That's how you obtain joy and happiness. Once you accept these things for life for what it truly is, then you can stop fighting. Then you can stop being determined in the wrong direction. There's nothing wrong with wanting to obtain these titles of man. But if that's all you living for, that's all you know, and it's corrupting you to be a nasty person, an ignorant person, a bitter person, an angry person, an unjust person. You got demons, killers. They go to the army, they learn how to kill so they can have a license to kill. They come back, they're police officers so they can kill. You got people that are angry, that were bullied and have all this anger and hate and rage in them to become lawyers, police officers, judges, to get back at people. Truth doesn't hold up in court. It's all about who tells the best lie. What is that? That's our legal system. It's not truth. It's not facts. It's who tells the biggest lie. The most believable lie. People are in jail because the lies that DAs tell. Forget the facts that are on paper. Forget the facts that science provides, the forensics. If the prosecution say this, that, and the other that has no relevance, that directly is in contradiction to the facts, to the truth, you still go to jail. So watch who your lawyers are. Because if you don't have a powerful lawyer that stands on the truth and is respected for truth, and he has a problem lying, he has a problem bending the truth so can be received to defeat those lies, you're gonna lose. All he's gonna do is try to get you a plea deal. Because to be a lawyer, you have to be able to come up with these stories. And the stories don't necessarily have to be true. Pride, verse 6, chapter 10, Sirach. Pride. Don't be angry when someone, for every little thing he does wrong. Don't be angry with someone for every little thing he does wrong. Don't do anything out of injured pride. Arrogance and injustice are hated by both the Lord and people. Injustice, arrogance, and wealth cause nations to fall from power, and others then rise to take their place. Injustice, arrogance, and wealth cause nations to fall from power. Remember I was saying, all them politicians, everybody trying to eat, everybody trying to eat, everybody trying to be wealthy, right? But then what does, after they fall, others then rise to take their place. We are only dust and ashes. What have we got to be proud of? What have we got to be proud of? Our body decays even while we are alive. Wow, we are only dust and ashes. What have we got to be proud of? Our bodies decays even while we are alive. We're dying right now. Every second we're dying. A long illness puzzles the doctor. Even a king may be alive today and dead tomorrow. When a person dies, all he then possesses is worms, flies, and maggots. Pride has its beginning when a person abandons the Lord, his maker. Pride is like a fountain pouring out sin, and whoever persists in it will be full of wickedness. That is why the Lord brought terrible punishments on some people and completely destroyed them. That is why the Lord brought terrible punishments on some people and completely destroyed them. The Lord has overthrown kings and put humbler people in their place. The Lord has pulled up nations by the roots and established humbler ones in their place. Said this. The Lord has overthrown empires and completely devastated their lands. He destroyed some so completely that they are not even remembered anymore. The Creator never intended for human beings to be arrogant and violent. It says it right there. Verse 18, Sirach, chapter 10. The Creator never intended for human beings to be arrogant and violent. So when people say, oh, what about the earth has been around for millions of years? or hundreds of thousands of years, or millions of years, or whatever. And we only have scripture now, and we only have scripture from this time to this time. No. No. Civilizations have been completely destroyed. All of them. All of their information, all of their wisdom, technology was destroyed along with them. Remnants here and there for people to be reminded of what God has done, that there is a God. You don't want to see it like that. They don't want to see it like that. So it's the same knowledge being pushed forward, pushed forward, pushed forward, pushed forward. It's the same wisdom being pushed forward, pushed forward, pushed forward against the ignorance. In all those nations, you don't think that there were wise people telling them that they're going down the wrong path? That the nation is being led down the wrong path? They had to stand up and fight against it. You know what I'm saying? How many times? The people have to stand up to get rid of the corruption. And sometimes it can only be done from within. Like in Caesar. It had to be the people that was right next to him to take out the evil. Nobody else was able to get close. So that's what I'm saying, to be the people that are right there next to the people in power allowing this to happen. When they know they have a job to do. Right? They have a job to do. For the greater good. For everybody. And guess what? Them taking that person out. Them defeating that evil. It's blessed by God. It's not shunned. It's rewarded. So, I don't know who that's for. There's a difference between murder and being marked by God for destruction because of the evil that must be destroyed. Two different things. Two different things. It's a lot of bloodshed in the Bible, ordained by God to spill, to put an end to wickedness, to put an end of ideologies that are in opposition to Him, philosophies, energies, mindsets, people, wickedness that are against Him. And instead of wiping us all out, because we're all capable of it, right? He raised up a few to do the job, to spread the message, to influence others, to grow their own army, following, body, movement to combat his enemies. To combat evil. It's just straight evil. And it's in everybody, right? We all have the capacity to be either one at any time. But there are differences. There, there, there's boundaries. There's consciousness. There's conscience. Choices. It's really boils down to the simplicity of the individual choice. Everything is the choice to be or not to be, to do or not do. People who should be honored. Sirach 10, verse 19. Who deserves honor? The human race does, because people fear the Lord. Who does not deserve honor? The human race does not, because people break the Lord's commands. That wasn't even a tongue twister. Who deserves honor? The human race does, because people fear the Lord. Who does not deserve honor? The human race does not, because people break the Lord's commands. A leader should be honored by those who follow him, and the Lord honors those who fear him. Rich people, famous people, and poor people all take pride in their fear of the Lord. It is not right to refuse honor to a poor person who is intelligent. It is not right to give honor to a sinner. People of influence, rulers, and judges will be honored, but none of them is greater than a person who fears the Lord. A slave who is wise will have free citizens serving him, and if they are sensible, they will not resent it. Humility and self-respect. Verse 26. When you do your work, do not make a show of your skill, and don't try to put on a show when you are in trouble. It is better to work and have more than you need than to go about boasting about hunger. My child, I didn't say that right. When you do your work, don't make a show of your skill, and don't try to put on a show when you are in trouble. It is better to work and have more than you need than go around boasting but hungry. Okay. Yeah. Running your mouth and you hungry. It's better to work than to have more. It is better to work and have more than you need than to go around boasting but hungry. My child, keep your self-respect but remain modest. Value yourself at your true worth. There is no excuse for a person to run himself down. No one respects a person who has no respect for himself. No one respects a person who has no respect for himself. Poor people can be honored for their good sense, and rich people can be honored for their wealth. If someone is honored while he is poor, think how much he will be honored if he becomes rich. If someone is despised while he is rich, think how much more he will be despised if he becomes poor. Boy, how did things the Bible, this is so profound and how it makes you think and how it makes so much sense. Just think about it. I mean, if you're rich and you hate it, and then you lose all your money, how much more hate will you have? You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. That's just a deep one for me. I mean, just to think about it, like Sirach 10:9, footnote: our body alive. This sentence is both Greek and Hebrew is unclear. Okay, our body alive 10:9. Which one was that? We are only dust and ashes. What we have got to be proud of, our body decays. What have we got to be proud of? Our body decays even while we are alive. Our body alive. Sirach 10:10, a long doctor. This sentence is in both Greek and Hebrew is unclear. Sirach 10:20, most manuscripts add verse 21. Success begins with fear of the Lord, but failure begins with stubbornness and arrogance. So there you have it. I think that's about a third of the book, close to it. I think it's 35 chapters in Sirach. This is the Bible. This is my Bible. This has been my go-to Bible for some years now. Sirach goes up to what, 35? If I'm not mistaken. No, it ain't further than that. Oh my gosh. Ooh. Oh man, 50, 51, 51. So it's not a third, it's a fifth. So we got through a fifth of it. Got through a fifth of it. And now, man, pretty much got up and washed my face and brushed my teeth. I had a little bit of water. I don't even know what I did with my jug of water. Guess I should have kept that near me. I could have used it while doing all that reading. Well, yeah. I hope that this little series sparks passion in you to seek for yourself, to provoke change within yourself, your thinking, how you see things, change your prayers, from money and houses and cars and all of these things to healing the world, for God to set things right, to put the right people in power to govern us, to heal the land, to bring about peace and justice, because we have a God that abhors injustice. So, till tomorrow, I guess I'll jump right back at it tomorrow. I'll give you guys another one. It'll be part 2. So check out the Sirach series to completion. This 5-part series it will be. And I will, I appreciate all you guys' love and support, and Hit the like buttons. A lot of people don't be liking my stuff. They be on here looking. Views, hundreds of views, thousands of views. And I ain't getting no likes. What's going on? Comment. I want some comments. I want to hear from you guys. I don't just want to hear amen and thank you. I want to hear what is it doing in you. You might have a question for me. You might spark a conversation. Get enlightened. Enlighten me. As the title of my channel is, let's get naked for Yahweh, with Yahweh. Because it's basically just saying strip down to the bare, the simplest, most simplest form. That's all I'm saying. Break it down to the simplest form. You. What you're going through. How you think. What's around you. You want peace? Stop worrying about things that are beyond you. Stop thinking about it. If you can't stop thinking about it, then do something to distract your mind. Do something that is creative, that something make something beautiful. Do something kind for somebody else. Bring a smile to somebody's face. Do different things to take you out of those places of negativity and those pits of depression or whatever, the funk that you may be in. Come out of it. Go outside in the sun. Open your shades, your curtains. Open the windows. Let a breeze blow. Not just one window. Open most of your windows and let breezes come and blow through your crib. So, the Sirach series, only right here. You really can't find Sirach on YouTube. I have searched. There's a couple things that might have it. I was going to do Tobit as well. Actually, I started reading it, but it's, oh my gosh. The names and pronunciations and all of that, and I just don't know. I just haven't been in that space where I want to do all of that and do music and just try to live and be relaxed and it's just a lot, man. Living is a lot. Living is definitely a lot, especially when you feel as though you have a purpose, and your purpose to do work for Yahweh, and that's leading people back to Him. That's what you should be doing. That should be your only message. That's the only message. You know what I'm saying? So turn back to your Creator, your Maker, the way you know how. We all know how. You know what I mean? You know how. Come correct, come clean, be honest, be honorable. All of this is what's going on within yourself. And then believe that you have been forgiven. You have been cleansed. You have been given a new slate to do the right things and move in that. Move with that as your focus, and you find peace. You find contentment. Yeah. hmm While you cooking it up, you cooking up something, cook it up. And when you master it, serve it. I guess that's what I'm doing. I'm just cooking. I'm just cooking live. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to sugarcoat it like everybody else. I ain't trying to uh, um, uh, do all of these, have all these theatrics and all these aesthetics to make people listen to me because of how I look. I gotta look this certain way. I gotta be wearing this, and my background gotta be this, and all of these things. But none of that is what's important. Is but what is being said is the most important thing. So you gotta look a certain way just to be heard. I know I'm pretty. I'm sexy. Hey, those not naps. Those curls. You know what I mean? But anyway, my beautiful people, family, children of God, my fellow human beings, even if you're not a child of God, we're all offsprings, but some of us are dissociated from our family by choice, your choice, and some by his choice, right? He plainly said he loved who he loved and he hate who he hate. He made for some for special purpose, some for common, some destined just for destruction. He has a purpose for everyone. Know what yours is. So I'll leave you with the question. Y'all know it. Where is the love? Especially between the woman and the man. And what are you willing to do to fix it? To heal it? To correct it? To reconnect? To bond? To solidify? To become one with? Hmm? If we want to heal the world, we have to heal ourselves and our homes. That's the foundation. The home, then the community, then the nation, then the world. Peace, 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 peace.